Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're taking on a project that sits right at this incredible intersection of physics, myth, and well, human emotion.
It's a really unique one. We're not just looking at an album today. It feels more like a fully realized work of cosmology.
Exactly. We're diving deep into Entanglement, a love story written before the stars formed by TATANKA. And the whole premise is just so ambitious. It's a love story where destiny isn't, some divine thing.
Mhm.
It's a scientific inevitability, something baked into the universe from the very beginning. The creators even call it a cosmology rendered in sound.
And the creation process itself is pretty fascinating. It was this human-led effort, but supported by AI tools like ChatGPT and Producer.ai. I mean, that blend of a human story with algorithmic patterns is kind of what we have to get into today.
So that's our mission then.
I think so. How does this project manage to fuse something as abstract as quantum theory, specifically entanglement, with this really profound sense of human longing?
Yeah, what does it actually mean to be bound at a subatomic level? And how does that scale up to, destiny? It's high science and deep story all in one.
Let's get into it.
Okay, so let's start with the science they're pulling from. The whole foundation is quantum entanglement, which is, it's the idea that two particles interact and then they're linked forever, no matter the distance.
Right. And if you measure one, say its spin, you instantly know the spin of the other one, even if it's light years away.
That instantaneous link, that's where the album's cosmology really takes its leap into myth,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely. The album's story starts with the singularity, this dense, chaotic soup of particles, all smaller than a proton, all interacting, all in unison. Then, bang, the Big Bang happens and scatters them all across the cosmos.
And this is the core idea, the philosophical engine behind everything. The album says those original particles never lost that connection.
They never lost it. The source material is very specific. It says there is no reason to believe the particles ever lost their entanglement. They just became, incredibly far apart. But they're still linked.
Wow. Okay, so if that's true, the implications are just huge.
Staggering. It means the universe didn't just birth isolated things. It birthed relational beings from the start. Individuality and connection were established in the exact same moment.
So separation is just a trick of space, not a fundamental reality. But wait, if everything is entangled with everything, why does the story focus on just one pair?
That's the clever part. The narrative uses the measurement problem from quantum mechanics. So initially, everything is just a cloud of potential superposition. The album suggests that when one particle is measured by consciousness, let's say it becomes the foundation for 𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧,
Okay.
its entangled counterpart, Dorian's particle, is immediately forced into a corresponding state. That act of becoming conscious crystallizes a specific destiny for a specific pair out of all that universal noise.
That totally reframes free will. So you mentioned the album uses physics as its emotional structure. Can you unpack that a bit? Give me an example.
Sure. Think about nonlinear time. In physics, the connection is instantaneous. The album translates that into the feeling of memory or intense longing. When a powerful memory surfaces, time literally has to bend because the particles are communicating now, in this moment.
So the emotional reality is just mirroring the quantum reality.
Exactly. That feeling of being drawn to someone isn't just in your head. It's a physical imperative.
Yeah.
It's the residual vibration from particles that were connected billions of years ago.
Which leads right into the spiritual architecture you mentioned. The realms in the story aren't just places.
No, they're emotional climates. You have the place of resonance, which is like the singularity, and the place of fear, that separation. The place of forgetting is when they become individuals, and the place of awakening is that final recognition.
It's like a classic hero's journey, the descent into the underworld. But it's reframed as just traveling across the cosmos to find yourself again. The conflict isn't good versus evil, it's just distance versus proximity.
And that's the genius of it. The physical universe itself becomes the map of the soul's journey.
Okay, so let's scale this up. We have the particles Ariel and Alina. How does this physics affect the actual human characters in the story, 𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧 and Dorian? This is where that emotional mirroring you talked about gets really specific.
Yeah, and it's not just like simple empathy. It's a resonant state. So when 𝗧𝗧𝗧𝗧 feels this deep, paralyzing fear, Dorian, who's thousands of miles away, feels an echo, a sort of coldness in his core.
But he doesn't know why.
He has no idea why. And when Dorian feels joy, Leora feels a little burst of brightness. It's this constant, subtle pull, but they don't have the context for it. They're just getting the feeling without the explanation.
And we see that in their lives, right? She's by the coast, always feeling this sense of searching.
Yeah, that longing. And he's out on the plains
Yeah.
feeling this static, profound loneliness. The geography is a metaphor for their inner state.
I love that detail where when she would cry about something, he'd suddenly feel this deep melancholy, even on a perfectly good day. It's like they're attuned to the same radio station, but his signal is full of static.
Exactly. And the catalyst for them finding each other is so modern and yet so cosmic. It's not some grand, fateful meeting. Leora posts a reflection about forgiveness in a small online group.
Just a post.
Just a post. And Dorian reads her words, and he feels the universe just tilt. That abstract quantum signal finally found a concrete medium, digital text.
And that detail's so important because it shows they still have to act on it. The connection is there, but the reunion takes effort. So he reads her words.
And books of flight? The climax, when they finally meet, is where the physics and the romance totally merge.
Right, it's not described like a normal meeting.
Not at all. The source material says, space folded like a closing flower, time compressed into a single luminous point. They aren't just two people meeting, they're two particles stabilizing the energy of the universe around them.
And that quote, that just sums up the entire album. It was not love at first sight, it was love at remembering.
Yes, if longing is the unconscious awareness of entanglement, then love is the conscious act of remembering that you were always one.
Wow.
And that brings us to the final metaphysical idea, which comes from Dorian's thoughts. He realizes their connection wasn't a choice. Not really. It's an unchangeable property of their existence. Separation was just an illusion. Love is. It's a force of reclamation.
A return to yourself.
Through the other person, yeah.
Okay, that's the perfect transition. Let's talk about the music. How does TATANKA even begin to translate all of this, the physics, the philosophy into sound? The music has to be the narrative engine here.
It absolutely does. It's not just background music. It embodies the ideas.
So walk me through it. How do the musical choices represent these states of entanglement and separation?
Well, the early tracks, the ones called Before the Shatter, are built on extreme minimalism, lots of pure, dense resonance. The simplicity is meant to mirror that singularity state. You hear these long, sustained tones, simple rhythms, often in these unnatural time signatures like 54.
To feel like they were one vibration.
Precisely. Then, when the separation happens in tracks like The First Distance, the whole soundscape just shatters. We go from unity to this dense complexity. You get polyrhythms, different conflicting rhythms all at once, and a lot of harmonic dissonance.
So that clash, that dissonance, that's the sound of them being out of sync.
It's the sound of energetic destabilization. The harmonies are deliberately uncertain. Sometimes they'll even use different musical scales in the left and right speakers to create this low-level anxiety in the listener.
That's brilliant. And what about the track, The Pole? That one seems central.
It is. It's the sonic representation of that shared emotional frequency. The lyrics say, "When your sadness rises, my bones know." And musically, there's this cello theme that's always subtly panning from one side of the mix to the other.
The sonic tenor.
The sonic tenor, exactly. Never sits in the center until the very end. And they'll use the same melody, but play it on, say, a distorted synth and a clean piano at the same time. The same rhythm, but on different streets, just like the lyrics say.
And the album isn't structured like a normal linear story?
No, it's deliberately cyclical. It's all about this theme of infinite return, echoing the idea that the entanglement can never actually be broken.
So those recurring themes and frequencies we hear.
They're like the quantum particles themselves. They get scattered and broken apart in the middle of the album, but your brain picks up on them returning. It creates this intuitive tethering effect for you, the listener. You feel the connection without even realizing it.
And the ending, the final track unison, it's not some big dramatic climax.
No, it declares coherence. In physics, that means stabilization. So musically, all that dissonance and all those clashing rhythms finally resolve. The little melodic fragments you've been hearing all along come back together, but now they're played as one full, rich theme.
It's a restoration of what was already there.
Not the creation of something new, exactly.
So we've gone from subatomic particles all the way to this mythic romance between Leora and Dorian, all tied together by entanglement. I mean, the album really does weave science and myth together to make this powerful argument for interconnectedness.
I think the biggest takeaway, the thing that stays with you, is that it reframes human longing. That ache you feel for someone. It suggests it's not just psychological, it's an ancient cosmic force property of physics.
We're all just trying to correct an energetic imbalance.
In a way, yeah. We're trying to get back to that original unison.
That is a stunning thought. So I guess this is the final question for you to take away. If the universe really is, as this album suggests, designed around connection, and our deepest connections are actually rooted in physics from the Big Bang, how does that change your view of fate versus scientific fact? And if love is just the universe's way for two particles to remember their original shared vibration, what new depths does that add to the term soulmate? It's definitely something to chew on long after the music stops.